Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to another Sunday Drive, and this is, of course, Knightwing01, aka K-Wing, not Quing. Welcome to my channel. Now, this is kind of like an impromptu podcast type thing where I just talk about whatever randomly pops in my mind. It's not structured in any way, shape, or form, so let the randomness begin. First off, I just want to kick off my plugs and get those out of the way. If you haven't already, make sure you head on over to Anook, the Facebook for gamers, so you can, sign up for that free social networking place that's for gamers. It's a lot better than Facebook, and you don't have to pay to do ads. Next up, I posted my new podcast, Nightlife, with my old partner, Swag, who some of you may remember from the old game nights stuff that we did back in 2008 through 2009, I believe it was, and we were kind of an offshoot of Got Game and did some stuff with WoW Radio back in the day, and we're doing our own new podcast. Right now I'm actually reinflating my tires because I'm going to need that, because today we're going to be racing against the most wanted racers. So sorry for skipping ahead, but the yelling children outside my window at the pool were driving me nuts, and I lost track of a lot of my thoughts. So, well, you didn't really notice anything because I skipped ahead, so there you go. Anyway, like I said a little while ago, which I'm gonna forget tons of things and probably repeat subjects, because literally there are about 15 children out in the pool outside my window screaming and shouting at 7 o'clock at night. Awesome. But we're doing the most wanted races, and I'm actually gonna be pretty terrible at this because I haven't played this game in about 2 to 3 weeks, because as some of you know, I was getting ready for E3. But I did have lots of Let's Plays to show and things like that, so there was content going while I was away. But I wasn't able to record any new Sunday drives or work on any reviews or anything complex like that. Yeah, this show is really complex. Not. It's also important to note when driving in this game too, you don't want to hit the wall, because not only are you going to drop your speed, but you can also get fishtailed. Oh, nuts! That's gonna come back to haunt me. Or not, because I'm still in first place. Anyway, some of you may have been following my social feeds the other day, but I did reserve a PlayStation 4, along with a bunch of games that I'm gonna be covering this year, but not a lot of first-party games for Nintendo, sorry. A lot of cool third-party games like Watch Dogs and Batman Arkham Origins, Rayman Legends, and of course Need for Speed Rivals, but this time for the PlayStation 4. Now, what's really interesting about me reserving a PlayStation system is I haven't been an early adapter of PlayStation products since the PlayStation 2. I actually got the PS3 right around the same time that Batman Arkham Asylum released. So it's because of Batman that I even bought a PlayStation 3. The reason why I bought a PlayStation 2 back in the day was because I was a huge RPG fanatic, and Nintendo didn't have any RPGs that I really cared about. In fact, they had hardly any RPGs or fighting games on the GameCube, so I had to go and get a PlayStation 2. Which I guess technically I didn't really early adapt, because I didn't get it in 2000. I got a PlayStation 2 in 2001, like a little bit before the GameCube came out. But yeah. Anyway, I'm sure most of you want to know how I feel about the whole Xbox One situation. And I'm actually very happy for a lot of the Xbox fanboys and girls, because now you won't have to pay for extra on used games or to share your games with friends. So that's good that Xbox actually has some common sense. And what's amazing to me is how they thought that they could get away with this to begin with when they were doing this no DRM thing, or whatever you call it. Oh, look at the car spinning. That is so sweet. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, I'm very happy for you guys and gals that have an Xbox, because, I mean, you shouldn't have to register your products like a PC. It's a home console. It's not a PC, it's a video game system. And Xbox needed to treat it accordingly, and thankfully they did. So you guys are the winners and all that. So a winner is you, and you should be very happy about that. And I'm very happy that I'm actually in first place. I actually have a shot of winning this race. That is totally... Never mind. Like I said, the more you crash, the more you will fail in this game. But somehow we're still managing to hold on to first place, so it's all good. Ooh, never mind. That has to cost me this time. Oh yeah. Yeah, that cost me big time. But anyway, getting back to the whole Xbox One thing. you know, the system, it's still way too expensive. I mean, $500 is not a affordable system by any means. Unless, of course, you're like super wealthy or something, and you plan on buying all 3 game consoles this generation, the Wii U, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. I'm only going to have 2 systems for the 8th gen, and that is the Wii U and PS4. And I just hope I don't have to buy a PS Vita in order to use the PlayStation 4. No way I was going to make that turn. But enough of all that. There really aren't any games that I'm very much interested on the PlayStation 4 other than the Need for Speed one. And the only reason I'm getting Need for Speed is because it's not coming to the Wii U, because EA Games is being really lame about their third-party support for the Wii U, which is surprising because last year they said, hey, we're going to keep supporting the Wii U no matter what. And it's like, no, you're not. You're only going to support the Wii U if Origin was their online system. I got your name, EA. I need to retry. But anyway, about my trip to E3, it was actually pretty cool. The best way that I can describe E3 is it's Super PAX. And I say it's Super PAX because when you go to PAX East, everything, at least like all the developers, they're in one area. And it's so easy to find your way around and things like that. With Super PAX or E3, you have 2 areas that are like where all the developers are instead of just one massive area. And you have the south and west area. But everything is so easy to find at E3. The only thing that I wasn't able to do at E3, which I really wanted to, was spend time with my indie friends from Chronoblade and Shovel Knight, sorry. The Shovel Knight crew. I couldn't find them at all. The ESA made it very difficult to find the indie developers, except for the ones that they allowed on the show floor to show off like PlayStation 4 and Wii U games. So that was very disappointing for me that I couldn't find where they were, because I really wanted to hang out with them. I was so excited about coming out to LA and spending time with them because indie developers are just so much fun to talk to that there's really not that much pressure to talk to them because they're not this huge company like Nintendo, for instance. Nintendo is always very intimidating to talk to, even though I know people who are higher-ups. It just feels like awkward talking to them. Because, I mean, it's Nintendo. With indie developers, they're just these normal guys who have their own studio, and it's like me with my YouTube job. You know, it's a job, it's something you do, but it's not something that's so, you know, intimidating to talk to them. So I was really disappointed that I didn't get to spend any time with them. And I actually wrote several apologies to the Chronoblade and other developers that I couldn't attend and find them because I really wanted to. But it just didn't end up happening. As some of you know, too, I actually took a plane to E3. And the whole story behind that is a little bit different because I wasn't going to go to E3. I actually had Maker Studios have our badges already and things like that, except Amber's badge was not her name. She had this name of another YouTuber because they couldn't, something happened with Amber's badge or something. So it was funny that her name was like Reese something. Everybody was looking at her like, oh, you just called her Amber. It's like, yeah, that's right. Her name, what's her name today? But the plane ride was so scary for me. The night before the hotel, like, I was packing everything, because I always like to be prepared when I'm packing for a trip. So I was packing everything and getting ready so that we didn't leave anything behind in the hotel, because I was worried that the 3DS capture card that we were using to work on stuff with a Project X Zone, the demo, which I never got to release, by the way, because I had some editing errors with it when I was on my trip, and I have to go and do it all over again. I wanted to make sure that I had everything packed away so I didn't have to worry about anything when I was flying. Oh, that shouldn't have happened. But I was terrified of getting on a plane, and my wife and I were kind of like in a little tiz before we left, and had some stuff happen at the airport. Her shampoo, her very expensive shampoo, got thrown away. My special mouthwash got thrown away that I was going to use when I was talking to different people at E3, so I was upset about that. And we weren't able to get any different mouthwash, so I had to brush my teeth like 5 times a day when I was in LA, so that when I talked to people I didn't lose friends. When they ended up throwing out some of my stuff, I was very upset. And they almost threw away my electric razor too, so I had to check that bag and stuff like that. And some of my equipment too. They rummaged through my camera equipment and all kinds of stuff. It was, the NSA did not. Is it the NSA? I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the airplane people are called. Leave a comment below. I think NSA has to do with some type of security agency, like a CIA or something. But anyway, the plane ride, it wasn't too bad going down. I mean, everybody had their own TV on their chair, so you could watch whatever you wanted to. You didn't have to just watch the in-flight movies. And so Amber and I paid for, I believe it was DirecTV for the entirety of the flight. It was like a 5.5-hour flight. But we watched Turtles and some other stuff, and it was a lot of fun. They had Animaniacs on and The Incredibles, and we fell asleep. And that was the story in one of our vlogs where the snooty business lady actually spilled soda all over Amber. I didn't even apologize for it. I was blown away. I was completely flabbergasted. The lady didn't even apologize. Ooh, I got second. That sucks. Well, I'm still first overall for the most wanted stuff. So yeah. But there was really no turbulence or anything like that, and I tried to sleep the best I could, but I was so terrified about flying, because I haven't flown since around 9/11. I believe the last time I flew was visiting my family in Illinois, like right around February, and I flew from Albany to JFK to do something a little bit before 9/11. I had to go visit something. I think I was looking at a school or something. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But, of course, all that stuff happened, and I lost friends in the towers and on the planes, so it brings up painful memories. So it was a real personal victory for me to fly and actually have it go well, because now I'm not as scared of flying anymore. And I'm actually planning a trip to go to Disney World with my wife in December, and we'll be flying probably either out of Logan or Rhode Island, whichever is closest to Florida, because it's not as long a flight as California. It's not a 5-hour flight, so it's not going to be that big of a deal for us. I just hope that at least it's not too short, because I kind of like the in-flight movies because they do help. Like for people who get nauseous and stuff like that on the plane, it really does help out. I'm just going to drive around for a while and talk because I want to. 'Cause I'm right on topic of what I need to do, which is amazing. Because it doesn't usually happen this way. If you actually watch my Sunday drives, it's like, where's he going with all this? It's like, I don't know. That's the fun. That's the joy of Sunday drive. And crashing into walls. But yeah, the plane ride, it wasn't as bad as going back. Going back was horrible. I was right in the middle seat. The lady refused to shut her window, and I asked her very nicely because I said I get really nauseous and stuff like that, and she was just very rude. And she did everything she could to really tick me off, and she kept hitting my elbow. She was using her, it felt like a Seinfeld trip, it really did, because she was using my armrest plus hers for her elbows, and every time I was trying to use my side of the armrest, she would push me off. It was very frustrating. And that happened a lot when I was trying to watch the Jack and the Giant Slayer or Killer or whatever that movie was, with Ewan McGregor and some of those other people. It was actually a pretty good movie. But that was the only really enjoyable part of my flight. And Amber and I also got to play Mario Tennis on the 3DS for a while, but the lady kept like sneering at us for playing video games, so it was a little uncomfortable. It definitely was. It gave me a very bad impression about American Airlines. And we also had the opportunity to upgrade to first class, but Amber didn't want to. I really wish we did, because the only reason that we had to have our seats changed to begin with is because I had to fly with Amber sitting next to me. The flight, they had us apart from one another, and you can't really hold hands when you're across the aisle. They don't like you doing that, and holding her hand when I travel, because I have a fear of flying, was a very big thing for me. So I'm freaking out that I can't sit next to her. And then they do get us some seats, but they get us next to this really mean lady, and they get us at the very back of the plane. So instead of being near the front of the plane where we had to go to the very back of the plane. And that was really hard. People at the very back of the plane aren't very nice to you, and kids like to kick you in the back of the head and like mess with the TV while people are trying to watch things. So yeah, it was meh. But and getting to our trip, when the plane landed in LA, we actually had a chauffeur waiting for us, and we felt like celebrities. It was really cool. The chauffeur was there. He had our name on the on a sign, and it was like something out of a movie. My drifting sucks so bad. I should have really practiced before I did this today. Oh well. It's about the commentary though, right? Right? But anyway, the chauffeur came and picked us up, and he drove us to West Hollywood where we were staying. And Amber was so excited to look out the window because everything was so vibrant and colorful in LA. Like the buildings were all multicolored and things like that. Plus you had palm trees and all kinds of different plant life in LA. It was really, really beautiful. The hotel we stayed at also was like very, very fancy and very beautiful. The only problem is it was right in the smack dab of nowhere, so it was very hard for us to get food and things like that. And also what made us not like that part of LA, West Hollywood, is like all the celebrities that were around and just people's attitudes were terrible. It reminded us of this one part of Boston where people are very snooty and look down at people. That was most of LA for us. And also there is a huge population of homeless in LA. It's 150,000 people are without homes or jobs and living on the street. That is so... It's very upsetting. It really is, because it's like LA, they do all this stuff for you, like as a person, like for yourself. Like I am important, you know, $1,000 dog grooming places and really expensive hair salons and restaurants, but they're not really doing anything to help their fellow neighbor. They're not being good Samaritans, and that really, really ticked me off. It did. It was like a night and day difference. You had the Beverly Hills side of LA, and then right across the street is the homeless people, and they're not doing anything to help them. I couldn't understand that. I saw more nudie bars than I did soup kitchens and places to actually shelter these people. What made it worse, though, is you had all these celebrities like on TV saying feed the hungry in Africa and these foreign countries. It's like, what about the people in your own backyard? I mean, the stars in Hollywood are just so two-faced. I never want to come to Hollywood again, really, because it's just, wow, it's like its own foreign country or something. But anyway, I'm going way off topic than I wanted to, hence the thing, and I don't have far enough a lead from this guy, so we're gonna retry this race. But E3 was amazing. It was a lot of fun. I really thought it was going to be very intimidating at the beginning, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. Everybody was really nice to us, aside from Nintendo, who kind of stiff-armed us a little bit. And that really hurt my feelings, because I thought that Nintendo and I had a decent relationship, but they've never done anything with us marketing-wise, and, you know, they've flagged my vids, and I don't know. I really don't care at this point anymore. So I have a completely different view of Nintendo after E3, which... You know, hopefully they can make amends at PAX. The PAX people are always a lot of fun to talk to, but the people that they had there, they didn't really care about what we did or anything like that, and they didn't care that we were a smaller publication or anything like that, or that we were even a couple's gamer paradise, basically, what Amber and I market ourselves as, like the premier couples gaming on YouTube and family-friendly entertainment, all that other stuff. Nintendo just didn't want to give us the time of day. But Activision was amazing to us. Not only did they fly us out there and do a lot of fun stuff with us, but they gave us hands-on the Skylanders game. We got to talk to so many different developers, and we got to talk about other Activision products too. Not to mention, they were so down-to-earth and so much fun to talk to that they made the trip to LA more than worth it. They're just the sweetest people that I have really met in the industry, and I was really surprised because these weren't indie developers. This was a massive company. Activision is this huge conglomerate of different companies like Blizzard and Vicarious Visions and things like that, that it was like, wow. I mean, it was truly inspiring to talk to these people, and they're so much fun to talk to. They actually took us out to dinner, and I thought I was going to have problems being out at night because I don't like being out at night. I mean, when I was a teenager, I loved going out at night and, you know, riding motorcycles or whatever, but as I got older, it's just nightlife doesn't really, I don't know, I just don't like it. So they had us outside, there were a lot of people smoking, things like that, and I was having problems breathing because of all the smoke. But they made dinner fun, so I really appreciate that, guys. I actually got sick that night, though, so I had to miss the second day of E3. So I spent most of my time recuperating, sleeping, having chicken soup, and hanging out with Amber, and she edited some of our vlogs, actually, while we were there. But the one thing I remember about the whole Activision thing is it was Amber's first time interviewing anybody, and she did an impeccable job. She really did. The only problem that she had with it is she kept stopping the interview. Even when she had great questions, she was so nervous talking to one of the guys behind Skylander Swap Force, and he was talking about his favorite Skylander, Swashbuckler or whatever, that octopus guy. And Amber was just so nervous. She was like, she was a wreck. But both me and the developer were telling her, you know, you just need to calm down. You're asking great questions. You know, just have fun with it and have some confidence, and you'll do fine. And eventually, you know, she was a champ, and she did really well. No way! I got first place? Wow, that's amazing. That wasn't supposed to happen, but it did! You just saw it, I redeemed myself. Sweet. But yeah, aside from Activision, the other companies that we got to hang out with was Sega a little bit, and they gave us hands-on the Sonic, I want to say Sonic Colors 2, but it's Sonic Lost Worlds. And we played the 3DS version, and it was a lot of fun to play. I really was impressed by that. They also showed us a sneak peek of the new Mickey Mouse game coming out, which is not a remake of the Mickey Mouse Genesis games. It's more of a tribute to the past Mickey 16-bit games, except in 3D. And the game looks and plays amazing. But you saw the developer commentary that we got for that. And that was very nice of Sega to do that, because they weren't doing that. So that was awesome that they were able to do that for us. The other big place we went to was Warner Brothers, and we got invited to the back room to check out Batman Arkham Origins. And that, no offense to Activision, but that was the most fun that I had at E3, because I am primarily a Batman-centered DC channel on YouTube. We do a lot of Batman content, and not just the Arkham games. So that was amazing that I got hands on the game. The first game that I played was Blackgate for the 3DS. And I only got to play about 10 minutes of that one because there was a little bit of a line. But from what I played, I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. The combat was great. But then again, you saw my combat analysis video that I posted a few days ago, where I was kind of explaining what Amber and I felt like when we played that. And based on that few minutes that I got to play that game, I'm totally buying it, and I am doing a series on it, because it's a great handheld Batman game. It really, really is. But the game that I got the longest time to play was definitely Arkham Origins, and they gave me so much time to play it. I started out doing the 15-minute demo like everybody else, but I asked them, because it was near the end of the day. It was the last day of E3, so things were winding down. I said, do you mind if I just fool around with the demo? Because I've already seen how this ends. I know that you go to the Royal Hotel and things like that. And they were like, yeah, sure, no problem. So the developer sat behind me and said, this guy's going to do some different things. So the stations over here are open. And he sat down and he chatted with me. And once he realized that I was actually very good at the game, there's a difference between doing live commentary and actually playing the game and things like that. So when I was getting S ranks in all the combat missions and doing all this really cool stuff, I was drawing a crowd of publishers. But the lady from Time Magazine that was there really was annoying me, because she didn't know how to play the game, and she was criticizing it without even knowing how to play it, and was writing things down like this game doesn't play very well and things like that. So while she was talking to herself and doing this, I was getting so upset, because I don't like it when people who aren't gamers review stuff, because they're not qualified. They're not. So that was my pet peeve while I was there. But anyway, getting back to the demo was a lot of fun. Like I said, they let me play it extensively for a long time. I didn't even get kicked out. I left on my own accord because I had to go do something for the game station. So I probably could have played for a lot longer. The guy even told me that, you know, oh, you're doing this. You have this Batman channel that has 100,000 subscribers. You know, play this demo for a long time. If it gets really busy, then yeah, you'll have to go. But I got to play for about 40 minutes, and let me tell you, I couldn't remove the smile from my face. It was so much fun. I mean, yeah, Roger Craig Smith is going to take some getting used to, but the fact that the developer was willing to talk to me about stuff too, it shows what kind of person he was. Ugh, I was gonna sneeze, excuse me. But yeah, he actually sat down behind me and we chatted, and I did bring up the continuity stuff, by the way. I wasn't gonna let that slide, because you know me, I'm this big lore guy on YouTube with Batman stuff. So I was talking to him about the continuity and the different Robins, and I was like, how can you guys say this takes place 5 years before Asylum, when Nightfall happened, when Bane was getting ready to beat Batman, which he remembers? He said, oh yeah, I remember that. It's like, yeah, Batman says, today Bane, I break you, and smashes in with the Batmobile. I said, that is a clear reference to Nightfall that happened in Dini's Arkhamverse. And he was like, well, yeah, but, and then it was like, that's not all. You guys also did the whole thing with Jason Todd, where the Joker said in the game that he actually killed Batman's sidekick. And, I mean, I guess you could go, oh, he killed Batgirl, but Joker didn't know Oracle was Batgirl. He didn't know Babs was Batgirl. He just shot her to get to the Commissioner in The Killing Joke, which also happened in the Arkhamverse. Yes! I got first again. This is awesome. So, you know, I was getting a little intense with them. Nothing to upset them or anything like that. I was very polite. I wasn't grilling them. I was just casually speaking to them and being like, you know, you guys, when you do a prequel, you have to pay attention to the continuity a little bit too, because you have all these games that are already established and stories that are yet to come. If you shorten the time span, it makes it very, very difficult to connect these games. Now, if this was just called like Batman Gotham, I'd have no problem because it's not connected to the Arkham games whatsoever, and I even told them that. But because you had Tim Drake and Nightwing and Oracle and all these other people like that appear longer in Batman's career, longer than 5 years, because you remember the New 52, Batman's been around at least 12 years. He hasn't been around like 25 years like in the Batman I grew up with in the 80s, but he's still been around a wicked long time. But in the Arkhamverse, they just totally screwed that up and also removed the potential of having later games. But when I was talking to the guy too, he reminded me, he said gameplay is the focal point of what this game is. We wanted gamers to be able to be familiar with the combat and everything, and they definitely improved the combat and made it more intuitive and a lot simpler to use gadget integration and things like that. So I can definitely see what they did with the combat. It's just if there was a way to fix the story, which they're not, I believe even in the game it says 5 years before Asylum. There's going to be a lot of problems later on that are going to happen, especially if Dini comes back and does the fourth game, or they do like another Origins type game, because Warner Brothers is going to turn this into a franchise. You just know. I mean, this is the third game, and the fourth game is going to come out with Conroy and things like that. But anyway, I'll save that for other Batman videos. The other biggest thing that happened to me was the TGS live stream, which was amazing and completely last minute, by the way. It totally was last minute. I was actually doing some stuff with some people, and TGS called me in, and they're like, oh yeah, we want you to come and do this live stream, because it was just going to be Smooth, Groove, whatever his name is, the guy with the beard, Holly, Dodger, Lisa, and that Pokemon guy. And then I was brought in last minute to talk about Batman and some of the stuff that I did. But as you remember from that show, all everybody did was talk about Nintendo. So nobody stayed on what's the word am I looking for? I'm so tired, I'm sorry. Nobody stayed on topic at all. Everybody just went all over the place with Nintendo. And Nintendo had a great presence and everything like that, but we were supposed to talk about other things, and I was kind of like out of the loop because I had things planned that I like to talk about. And even beforehand, the guy, my manager, told the TGS director guy that Luke likes stuff structured so that he's not surprised by things. And that completely surprised me. And they also told me, too, that they wanted people to talk during the trailers, do kind of like a Mystery Science Theater thing, so that's why I was talking during the trailer. I was just trying to do what I was told, and everybody else was just kind of sitting there like, wow, this is interesting. So I was having some fun with that, you know, like Falcon Punch and doing the Patrick Stewart voice and things like that. So I was just having a lot of fun with that. That's why I did that. But yeah, the live stream was a lot of fun, and I'm very thankful that I got to be a part of that and hang out with those guys. And yeah, other than that, LA was pretty cool, and I enjoyed hanging out with the TGS crew, Activision and Warner Brothers, and things like that. And the games that I actually played while I was on vacation was Donkey Kong Country Returns 3DS. And I bought that game because of the British actor, because the Nintendo marketing sucks. It was just little kids or families playing the game and fake smiles. And Nintendo Europe actually shows people playing the games. It shows the gameplay and the things that people are actually interested in. Because of that commercial, I went and bought the game. But anyway, gamers, that's going to wrap up this installment of Sunday Drive. Thank you so much for watching and coming for a drive with me today. Until we meet again, gamers, God bless, happy gaming. Light up that comment section with whatever you want, and I'll see you next time. Bye!